What's up, everybody? Domovex here, near mint condition project manager and assistant editor of comicreleases.com. And today we're here to talk about 60 brand new books uploaded to the catalog. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, quick side note, Edelweiss is the official source of this information. They are the US's trade and publications manager for all of the major book retailers, the regular book market, so to speak, not the direct market. And in addition to that, I'm covering only 60 because the other 50 that I haven't covered on this channel will be in a part 2, so stay tuned for that. I will also add that all of the other books that were in this catalog were already featured on a video made by me in the previous couple of days, so be sure to check those out. But let's go ahead and get right into it with Dead Man Omnibus hardcover 2025 edition, which is $25 more than the previous collection. This is $125 instead of $100. Now this will have the same mapping, same issues, same collection results, same content, just again at $125 of a price point than $100. Next up is Green Arrow by Joshua Williamson, book or volume 3, I should say. This is $19.99, 144 pages, and this will collect Green Arrow 13 through 16, Green Arrow 2024 Annual Number 1, and Green Arrow 350. And what I will say about these issues is that this collects the Absolute Power tie-ins that Williamson did for the event, and also the Green Arrow issue 350 Legacy issue that hands the baton off to Chris Condon and Montos. So this has the finale of Williamson's run for all of those Green Arrow fans wondering what this is all about. This is the final book of Joshua Williamson's Green Arrow run. Next up is My Adventures of Superman trade paperback. Superman fans should be eating with this media tie-in, collecting the 6 issues of the media tie-in miniseries coming out next year on the 11th of March. $19.99, 144 pages. Superman fans eating well, man. This is an awesome TV show. If you guys haven't checked it out, you probably should. Next up is Batman Catwoman by Tom King trade paperback. Now, this trade paperback was previously collected in a standard hardcover that had 2 covers. It had a regular cover and a DM cover. Batman Catwoman 1 through 12 and the Batman Catwoman special are collected in this trade paperback. $24.99, 424 pages of content, coming out next year on the 18th of March. Next up is Batman Beyond the White Knight Deluxe Edition. This is going to retail for $49.99, 272 pages, collecting Batman Beyond the White Knight 1 through 8 miniseries, and also Batman White Knight Presents Red Hood. Some beautiful splash pages in there by Simone DeMeo, coming out next year on the 18th of March. Next up is Dark Knights of Steel All-Winter hardcover. This is the specific hardcover for the All-Winter miniseries. So this is not the original 12-issue series by Tom Taylor, but it is co-written by Tom Taylor. C.S. Passat co-writes it along with him. Passat did the Tales of the Kingdom special a couple of years ago, and we'll get to that as well because there is another solicitation along with Dark Knights of Steel. But again, this hardcover is the All-Winter Elseworld 6-issue miniseries, $29.99, 208 pages, and it is a standard hardcover, so keep that in mind, guys, when you are buying this. Next up is the Dark Knights Metal Compendium. To note, this Metal Compendium collects every single one of the issues that are already in the omnibus without the price of the omnibus. I'm 99.99% sure that the reason that Metal Omnibus was so expensive is because of the super cool looking metal foil plate that we got on the dust jacket and the spine. This won't have that. This is only 728 pages, but it is $60. Coming out next year on March the 18th. Once again, collecting the entire event. So if you are looking for a better price to save on the entire event without having to buy all the trade paperbacks, this might be the perfect format for you. And honestly, I am very interested to see if DC continues these compendiums for other similar crossover Crisis or non-Crisis events. If they did this for Final Crisis, they did this for Infinite Crisis, if they did this for Dark Knight's Death Metal. So this is a very interesting collection to me, and I'm very interested to see what they do with this format looking forward for future compendiums. I'm not going to be the one to put it out there, but what if they put Dark Crisis and Infinite Earths in compendium format? That is an interesting thing, I think, to listen and follow to. Next up is Doom Patrol, the Silver Age Omnibus hardcover. This is a little bit of a bump from the last time. This is $125, 1080 pages, same content. So this is going to collect My Greatest Adventure 80 through 85, the Doom Patrol 86 to 121, and the Brave and the Bold 65. There are a lot of good stories in here, guys. I think you guys should check this out ASAP. Coming out next year on the 18th of March. Next up is Batman Dark Age hardcover by Mark Russell and Mike Allred. Now, this collection, or these 6 issues specifically, is sort of the mirror to the Superman Space Age 3-issue limited series that Mike Allred and Mark Russell collaborated on not too long ago. $39.99 for 264 pages, coming out next year on the 25th of March. Next up is Batman the Golden Age Volume 2 hardcover, the 2025 edition of it. $25 more than the previous asking price, so this is now $125, as you can see there, coming out next year on the 25th of March. Collecting Detective Comics 57 through 74, Batman 8 through 5, and World's Finest Comics 4 through 9. This is going to also be 768 pages. So there, keeping in mind, guys, same contents with these brand new editions. Next up is Harley Quinn by Tini Howard Volume 3 trade paperback, which collects issues 38 through 43 of this run, coming out next year on the 25th of March, $19.99, 176 pages. Next up is Jeff Johns' Justice League, the New 52 Book 2 trade paperback, to be decided on contents being collected, but considering that this is the follow-up to Book 1, I expect Trinity War to be collected in here. I expect the first 5 issues of JLA to be collected in here. The New 52 series, of course, from 2013 onwards. This is going to retail $49.99 at 544 pages, March 25th, the release date for this. Next up is Nightwing Volume 7, Fallen Grayson, the final arc to Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's explosive run on Nightwing. Collecting issues 114 to 148, $29.99 for the hardcover people, $19.99 for the trade paperback people. This is one of these series that will have both the hardcover and the trade paperback available on the same day. Coming out next year on the 25th of March at 232 pages for both. Again, this is the final arc of Nightwing by Tom Taylor, so if you guys are buying this, this will be the last book that he writes for Dick Grayson. Next up is from the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives. Yes, they remastered and re-found Jim Apato's former artwork, restored it, remastered it, and gave us a tale of what actually happened if Jason Todd had survived, if he survived the vote. This is collecting the entire 4-issue limited series, coming out next year on April 1st, 1999, 128 pages. Up next is Gotham by Gaslight Kryptonian Age Volume 1. Now, to all of you guys who are buying these series, this is going to collect the first 6 issues of a 12-issue series. So there is still 7 through 12 to go to be collected for this specific series. 2 other notes. The first is that DC is not immune to splitting off limited series if they are 12 or 10 issues in 2 separate hardcovers. We got that with Doomsday Clock by Jeff Johns. We got that with Dark Knights of Steel by Tom Taylor, and we also got that with the Human Target Black Label miniseries by Tom King. $29.99 at 208 pages. This is also a standard hardcover. If you guys are waiting for something oversized, I would wait for the 12-issue series to finish to see if DC is going to decide to publish an oversized hardcover or not of this series. Once again, just keeping all of those notes in for those people who are unaware of what the series brings. Next up is Gotham City Year 1 trade paperback. This is the same contents as the standard hardcover that came out a couple of years ago, collecting the 6 issues of Gotham City Year 1, $19.99 at 208 pages, coming out next year on April the 1st. Next up is Punk Rock Jesus trade paperback 2025 edition, a re-edition of Sean Murphy's Punk Rock Jesus, issues 1 through 6, $19.99, 224 pages, I should say. Next up is Batman Elmer Fudd, the deluxe edition hardcover. This is going to collect the special one-shot that Mr. Tom King and also Mr. Lee Weeks collaborated on for this specific series. It's not really a series, it's a one-shot. But anyways, it's also going to have bonus material in from Lee Weeks. This is going to come out on the 8th of April next year, $19.99 at 96 pages. Next up is the 2007 Booster Gold series. I still find that cover hilarious. $29.99, 440 pages, coming out next year on the 8th of April. Booster Gold issues 15 through 31 of the 2007 series, along with the 23rd issue of The Brave and the Bold, will be collected here. And this is a big one. Justice League by Scott Snyder and James Tynion IV. Omnibus Volume 1. Now, it does not say Volume 1 on Edelweiss. I will note that all of the contents in here lead it to be a Volume 1 because issues 26 through 39 that are written by Scott Snyder aren't in this omnibus for a specific reason. Now, this is $150 with 1,224 pages of content. It's already a lot of content to begin with. We'll have to see if the next omnibus is going to collect certain issues from Year of the Villain tie-ins to Year of the Villain Hell Arisen and other series like that. But for now, this issued omnibus will collect Aquaman 41 through 42, which were Drowned Earth tie-ins, I should say. Teen Titans 28, another same case. Justice League No Justice 1 through 4. So for all the people who bought the deluxes, that wasn't included in there, but is now included in this omnibus. Issues up to issues 25 for Justice League 2018. The Drowned Earth specials. They began with Justice League Aquaman Drowned Earth, and they ended with Aquaman Justice League Drowned Earth. They are two completely separate issues that aren't labeled as Alpha and Omegas. So you know what? I understand now why comic book publishers now have an Alpha and an Omega issue for those specific crossover events. The Batman Who Laughs issues 1 through 7. So for people who bought the deluxe hardcover to the Batman Who Laughs, man, I kind of feel bad for you guys. Yeah, that's me. And also Justice League Annual number 1. So there's a lot of contents in this omnibus. We will have to see what Volume 2 collects. Once again, they could collect the Year of the Villain tie-ins, some of the miniseries like Hell Arisen, the first 6 issues of Batman and Superman by Joshua Williamson. The table is wide open to see what is available or what will be available in Volume 2. Maybe they'll collect the rest of the series with Robert Venditti. We will have to see. I'm very interested to see what they collect in Volume 2 for this omnibus. All right, next up is Legion of Superheroes 5 years later, re-editioned and reissued. Volume 1 of this is going to collect the same materials as the previous collection. Issues 1 through 39 of Legion of Superheroes 1989, Timberwolf 1 through 5, Annuals numbers 1 through 3, and Adventures of Superman 478, coming out next year on the 15th of April at $150 at 1,424 pages. Next up is 100 Bullets Book 2. Now this is going to collect 20 issues, 20 through 36 of the critically acclaimed 100 Bullets, coming out next year on the 22nd of April. And at $39.99, 416 pages, you can get those issues of 100 Bullets. Next up is Batman, The Brave and the Bold, Volume 2. We have no idea what this collects yet because the way that they're collecting these anthology series, it seems like they're splitting off some creators with their own so they can have a more concise reading order. Coming out next year again on the 22nd, 1999, 176 pages for Batman, The Brave and the Bold, Volume 2. Next up is Dark Knights of Steel, the deluxe edition by Tom Taylor and Yasmin Putri. After years and years of waiting, it's finally come to this. 392 pages, $49.99 for the Elseworld series. Dark Knights of Steel, issues 1 through 12, and the Tales of the Three Kingdoms issue that I was talking about earlier is also collected here. Next, they got JLA, Book 2 trade paperback, collecting issues 10 through 23 of JLA Annual number 2. Secret Files and Origins number 2, New Year's Evil Prometheus number 1, JLA World Without Grown-Ups 1 through 2. This actually would be interesting to see if they reissue this at some point with the DC Finest, because I think a DC Finest line of all of the Justice League books during this era would have been pretty cool. Now again, $49.99 for 560 pages. It is a pretty good deal, I would say, for that amount of content with that price point. Next up, we got the Nightwing Rebirth Omnibus. This is the entirety of Nightwing under the Rebirth banner. This will collect the Tim Seeley and Sam Humphries runs on Nightwing and everything in between. $125 is the asking price for this at 1,040 pages, coming out next year on the 22nd of April. And this will collect the Nightwing Rebirth one-shot that kicks the whole run off, along with 43 issues of the 2016 run. I will mention that we do have enough material for a Rick Grayson omnibus, as crazy as that is, to segue the gaps between this and Taylor for all of the Nightwing fans out there, just the DC fans, I would say in general. Again, a very interesting selection to collect. Percy will probably be in the next omnibus, and so will the Scott Lobdell run and the Dan Jurgens run. So I don't know how you guys feel about that Rick Grayson era of comics. I will just say that we do have enough material to cover that in an omnibus, were this to be published like this in this format. Next up, we got the reedition of Batman and Robin Volume 2, Batman vs. Robin by Grant Morrison, Andy Clark, and Cam Stewart. This is going to collect the issues from the 2009 run, issues 7 through 12, April 29th next year, 1999, at 168 pages. Next up, we got Birds of Prey by Kelly Thompson. Yes, man, I love this creative team. I love this book. Issues 13 through 18 will be collected here. 2025, April 29th will be the release date of this book. 1999, 176 pages. Next up, we got the Silver Age Green Lantern Omnibus Volume 2, issues 36 through 75 of the year 1960 is going to be collected once again. This is a reissue, a reprinting, reedition. $125, 1,000 pages. Up next is a major surprise. Suicide Squad, the New 52 Omnibus, is going to be released by DC Comics next year on the 29th of March. This is going to collect Resurrection Man number 9, Suicide Squad 0 through 30, Detective Comics 23.2, Justice League of America 7.1, and Suicide Squad Amanda Waller number 1, $99.99 at 816 pages. Next up is Kingdom Come, part of the DC Comics Compacts line, a major success for the company. Kingdom Come 1 through 4 will of course be collected in this 208 pages, $9.99. Of course, I will always optimize everyone's viewing point to get an oversized collection of this book, because honestly, Alex Ross deserves it. But if you guys are strapped for cash, or if you guys want to introduce someone brand new to DC Comics, these are the way. This is the way of the future, and Compacts Comics got you for $9.99 at a very, very great price point for any stocking stuffer or any brand new fan trying to get into the comics. Next up is a reedition of the Prince of Gotham Omnibus of Nightwing. Kyle Higgins and rest of the company, Eddie Barrows, are going to bring you Nightwing, this time in a reedition for $125 as opposed to $104, 824 pages with the same content as the previous omnibus, which collected 0 through 30 of Nightwing, Batman issue 17, which is the end of the Death of the Family crossover storyline, Young Romance, a New 52 Valentine's Day special, Annual number 1 of Nightwing, and Secret Origins number 1 from the 2014 series, coming out next year on May the 6th. Once again, Nightwing, the Prince of Gotham. This has been a big whale for everyone. They are now reissuing it, so it will be available for you to purchase at an actual reasonable and rational price. Up next, we got Outsiders by the Hive Mind, issues 7 through 12 being collected in Volume 2, Never the End. I put Volume 2 twice there in the title, but that doesn't matter. $17.99, 160 pages, coming out next year again on the 6th of May. Up against the wall, we got Final Crisis Legion of Three Worlds, the deluxe edition. They are putting Jeff Johns' and George Perez's Final Crisis Legion of Three Worlds issues that tied into the event in a nice deluxe hardcover. So if you guys are just looking for that absolute and want something to pair along with it, this would be great, even though it has nothing to do with the event at all. $39.99 at 240 pages, coming out next year on the 6th of May. Next up, we got Action Comics by Jason Aaron, I, Bizarro trade paperback. 112 pages, collecting the 3 issues of Action Comics that Jason Aaron and John Tim did on a collaboration for the Bizarro arc, issues 1061 through 1063, as the startup to the Superman Superstars year of Action Comics. Up next, we got Batman Full Moon by Rodney Barnes. 2 things to note here. This is a black label book, but it is standard size. This is a standard size hardcover, and the second one, this just got announced recently, so I'm surprised that they put this in the collection. Issues 1 through 4 of the series are going to be collected in here, $29.99, 160 pages. It'll probably look great to your Batman the Imposter hardcover as well. Again, standard size for all of you wondering. This is not magazine size, not oversized. This is a regular standard size hardcover. Next up, we got a reedition of Hero Hunters Birds of Prey trade paperback, issues 68 through 80, I should say, of the Birds of Prey 1999 run are collected in here. Batgirl issue 57 and Batman 633. $29.99 at 360 pages. Next up, the omnibus that I am I've said surprised a lot. This one actually like swooped me off my feet, and you could take that in any way that you'd like to. Night Terrors, collecting the entirety of the 2 shots of this event, which is that's a lot of 2 shots. I'm not even gonna read any of that. 1,464 pages, $125. This was the event of this summer that sort of streamlined from Dawn of DC, if you want to even call it that. So all of these are in this omnibus. If you guys are trying to avoid the standard hardcovers, I would say buy this. Next up is Nightwing Volume 1 Bloodhaven trade paperback. This is the beginning of the Chuck Dixon, Scott McDaniel run and era of Nightwing. Issues 1 through 8 and 1 through 4 of both the 95 series and the actual ongoing series that lasted up until 2009 are collected in this trade paperback. Again, this is a re-edition, $24.99, 288 pages. Next up, we got Red Hood and the Outlaws. Another big whale in the same similar form of fashion and format as the previous Nightwing Omni that I talked about with Prince of Gotham. To add to that, the most interesting thing I find about Red Hood and the Outlaws is that James Gunn actually considers this one of his favorite New 52 runs. And I think that's the case for a lot of Red Hood fans. Red Hood fans really adore this comic, just sort of made Jason on his own past Flashpoint and teaming up with Roy Harper and Coriander. So 2011's run from issues 0 to 27 are collected in this omnibus. Red Hood and the Outlaws Annual #1 is also collected in here. What also is collected in here is the Teen Titans tie-in, issue 16 to the Death of the Family event, as well as Batman 2011-17, which is the end of the Death of the Family event. Just again, like the Nightwing Prince of Gotham omnibus, $99.99 at 736 pages, coming out next year on the 13th of May. Superman Up in the Sky. This is a deluxe edition that I have been waiting for. I collect Tom King oversized books because he always tends to read better in trade, and it always manages to stick. I really like Andy Kubert's art as well, and I think they did a fantastic job in the story. Issues 1 through 6 are collected again in the Superman Up in the Sky oversized hardcover deluxe edition. $34.99 for 192 pages, but trust me guys, it is worth it, and it is coming out next year on May the 13th, sorry, May the 13th of 2025. Next, we got a very weird collection, and I'm actually going to put question marks because I have no idea what this is going to collect or even quantify. On Edelweiss, it says that it's $29.99 for a trade paperback of Dr. Fate by J. M. DeMatteis. Hopefully I said that right. Omar just had him on Near Mint condition. Coming out next year on the 20th of May. No contents and a very incorrect page count to price point. If they actually managed to put a 776 page thing out of this $29.99 whatever it may be, kudos to you, DC. Honestly, I will tip my hat off to you. This would be a wonderful collection. Again, I don't know much about this or what this will collect. I should say what this will collect. I have a pretty standard idea of what it will probably have and entail. But again, very, very weird product information provided by Edelweiss. Next up, we got Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams, Volume 3, Power of Will. Issues 13 through 18 of the 2023 run of Green Lantern are collected in here. 176 pages for $19.99, coming out next year on May the 20th. Injustice 2, a big one for me, a big one for other people. I find the Injustice 2 game to be a lot better than the first game. Actually, one of my favorite NetherRealm games overall. And I think the story, for the most part, is succinct and it works well in tandem. The comic issue tie-ins will be collected all in this one omnibus, including the 2 annuals that are collected in here. $125, 920 pages. Once again, on May the 20th. Ooh, Looney Tunes, Catch That Wascally Wabbit. $14.99 for 144 pages, coming out again next year on May the 20th. Nightwing, a Compendium, Volume 2. This is going to continue to collect the Scott McDaniel and Dixon era of Nightwing comics. Action Comics 771, Batman Annual 23, Nightwing 26 through 59, Birds of Prey number 8 and 20 to 21, Nightwing Secret Files number 1, Nightwing 80-page Giant number 1, and the Target number 1 are all collected in here. May the 20th, $59.99, 1,112 pages. Man, I can't even explain how hyped I am for this book. Suicide Squad by John Ostrander, Omnibus Volume 1. one of the greatest comic book runs of all time, as if there already weren't enough of the greatest hits in this collection of Edelweiss catalogs, man. Insanity. Suicide Squad 1 through 18, Checkmate number 1 and number 8, Manhunter number 1, JLI 13, Secret Origins 14 and 28, Who's Who 14, Detective Comics 582, Doom Patrol and Suicide Squad Special number 1, Who's Who 3 through 8, 11 through 12, 15 through 18, 20 through 23, 25, New Teen Titans 31, Fury of Firestorm 62 to 64, Nuclear Man, the Firestorm Annual number 5, Who's Who Update 1, 3 through 5, Legends 1 through 6, Millennium 4, and Who's Who's Update 1988 1 through 4 are all in here, collected beautifully and compactly in this nice omnibus collection at $125 at 1,008 pages of content, coming out next year on May the 20th, man. Salute to you, DC. This wasn't in my most wanted or most voted for omnibus video, but man, if they actually saw that, then I really wish I put this on my voting list, guys. I really do. Up next, guys, is a compendium of a very, well printed, I should say, era and event of Superman. The Death and Return of Superman compendium. This is going to collect everything that was in the omnibus, just again in compendiumized format. $59.99 for that, though, instead of $150. So if you guys are weighing in on what to buy and you want it to look nice, Superman has a lot more trade paperbacks than I would say than Batman, even Wonder Woman, honestly. So if you guys are looking to save some money, this is definitely the way to go if you want to read the entirety of DROS. Yes, I called it by its abbreviation. Next up, we got the Legion of Superheroes, the Cursed Deluxe Edition. I will actually mention one of my friends, Mr. Freeven. Freeven says that this isn't really a story, it's just a super big chunk of the next Levitz and Giffen collection, but the curse is in the annual number 3 that is collected in this book. Once again, it is just stories of the new Mature Legion that both of those guys made, and yeah, lots of ensemble type stuff, collecting 297 through 313 of the 1980 run, $49.99 at 544 pages of content. Alright, next up we got Wonder Woman by the man Tom King Volume 3. This is going to collect everything after the Absolute Power tie-ins. Power tie-ins were issues 12 through 13, which were drawn by Tony S. Daniel, who briefly took over for Daniel Sampere. I'm assuming that Daniel Sampere was brought over to do the DC All-In flip book, so he probably had a lot of time on that. And also all of the variant covers, the foil variant covers, I should say, that he was doing for DC All-In, but now he's back on Wonder Woman, and he's going to continue to take some names. Issues 14 through 19 again collected here, $19.99, 168 pages for this collection. Next up, we got another surprise. Honestly, this might have to be the way to go for this. Absolute Superman, Red Sun by Mark Millar, collected in this, again, oversized hardcover that I just did not see coming. And by oversized hardcover, I mean absolute collection. May the 27th is going to be a release date for this. $100, 184 pages of content. Next up, we got Batman the Barbarian, another Elseworlds tale from the Elseworlds line of their comics, $29.99, collecting the full 6 issues of this Elseworlds tale and miniseries. This is another standard hardcover. This is not a deluxe hardcover. This is a standard hardcover. $29.99, 184 pages. Next up, we got the DC Pride box set, collecting the last 3 years of publication for DC Pride. So if you guys are interested to read some of these anthology tales, and there are a lot of great stories in here, I will guarantee you that. Collecting Love and Justice, New Generation, and Better Together. May 27th is the release date for this, $59.99 at 484 pages. Next up, another DC Pride trade paperback. This is The Farthest Reaches, collecting last year's DC Pride one-shot issue, again for the anthologies of these DC Pride stories, coming out next year on the 27th of May, $19.99, 144 pages. Jenny Sparks, Be Better. This is the Tom King, Jeff Spokes Black Label miniseries, collecting again the entirety of those 6 issues. May the 27th, 2025 is going to be the release date for this, $19.99 at 216 pages. Static Season 1, another one of these compact editions, man. They are showing out for these compact editions line. Vita Ayala and Reginald Hudlin are in this omnibus, as well as art, I believe, from none other than Nicholas Draper Ivey. Should have been on the cover somewhere. Static Season 1 through 6 is collected in here, $9.99, 184 pages, coming out on the 27th of May. And last, but certainly not least at all, probably my most anticipated of all of these omnibuses, my personal favorite run of Wonder Woman by Greg Rucka is going to be collected in Volume 1. This is all of the pre-Infinite Crisis material, right before Diana does you-know-what to you-know-who. Issues 195 to 226 of the 1987 run is collected in here, along with the crossover that was in Flash 219. That was previously collected, I want to say, in Jeff Johns' Omnibus Volume 2, Wonder Woman the Hecate, issue number 1, probably my favorite Wonder Woman story of all time, honestly, and Blackest Night Wonder Woman 1 through 3, which was, of course, previously collected in trade paperback, standard hardcover, and also in the Blackest Night Omnibus. This is going to retail for $125, and at 1,000 pages, man, it is a no-brainer. You all know that I work for comicreleases.com. And for those of you wondering what on earth it is and why I keep mentioning it all the time, to the start of every video, to the intro of every interview I've done and I've been on, it's the website that I work for that is your one-stop shop for all up-to-date release dates on the omnibuses, epic collections, hardcovers, special editions of collected editions, and much more for the super duper uber collector. We also have documented solicitations for Marvel, DC, Image, Boom Studios, IDW, Dark Horse, and Titan, releasing every single month, so you are up to date on all comics and graphic novels that are coming out for that pre-order period. Now, if you join our Patreon, which is only at $2 a month, it not only helps me and Webhead, who I run the website with, to keep up the server and have it running, you also get a watch list to document all of your books so that you can track them whenever solicitations go live. It's in depth, it's really cool, and if there's a bug or something that we can improve on the site, please let us know how we can fix this via contact information on the forum or our Discord server. Once again, that's Comic Releases for more information. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. This was a lot to cover. Let me know what you are most excited for in this and what you're excited to see me cover for. I want to know what you guys want me to review, man. There's so many comic books I want to talk about, and man, I'll probably have to say more in part 2 of this two-part series. DC, you are doing something right. For the first time, I can actually legitimately say that your collection editions department doesn't have your head up your butt, and for that, and as a big DC fan, as a big DC reader, someone who grew up with these characters, I really, really appreciate that. These are the collections that we want to see, and these are the stories that we want to see being told, and you guys are doing a great job. But that's going to be it for me. Once again, Edelweiss signing out. You be you, take care, and dominate the day wherever you are.